Well. Nice of you to fucking join us.
I didn't think we'd make it, but we did. How are you today?
I am excellent, man.
It's great to be on the show, man. Apologize for the connection issues I could have had. Should have had
it's all
all
good.
AT&T squad over here, and it still wouldn't have done anything.
I'm used to doing the tech support with you boomers. So yeah, let's jump into it. Let me clear my throat. It's been a lot of Xavier Wolf.
Let's make it proper.
Oh look, now I'm getting some fucking feedback. Which you did. Look what you done did. Yo, are you in LA right now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's early for you. So okay.
I'm just getting started. Yeah.
Yeah, I am preparing. Actually, no, my day's a little long today. All right. Anyway, I would like to welcome everyone to the 62nd episode of Money Trees. Online marketing is crucial to success, yet extremely difficult to get right. There are forces most are unaware of that are responsible for getting content in front of their face. Today's guest is one of those forces. A savvy social media expert and lover of Henny and lemonade, we have Tim Jeanneret here on the show. How are you feeling today, G?
Feeling like I could use a little Henny and lemonade, but other than that, I'm not a damn complaint in the world, man. Been waiting for this for a minute. Glad we can connect. I've been watching Money Trees grow and waiting to be a part of this segment for a while. So I'm in my best mood right now.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on here. You are the first egg that we've had on the show. You have no profile picture. While you are a social media expert, you do not lend your expert skills to your own profiles, which I get. You're busy slaying it with Bloom. And, you're out in LA now. Where were you at before LA?
Kind of a hybrid mix of Montana and DC, but just for, to go with my egg profile and the low profile I like to keep, we'll just say Montana.
Yo, you ever watch the show Yellowstone?
Everyone asks me that while I'm out there. I've watched some of it. I kind of went into it thinking it was going to be way more violent than it was. Wanted that lens. And yeah, I've watched it. It's pretty good. It's kind of accurate of how things are out there a little bit.
I don't know, man. That shit was pretty violent from what I saw. Y'all getting a little active over them cattle.
I got 3 episodes in, to be honest. I didn't really.
Okay. Yeah,
really watch that shit.
Yo, the latest season shit starts off with like a full blown fucking Jason Bourne style shootout. It's intense.
Oh, so I'm just impatient then. All right, I might have to hang around a little longer for that one.
Yo, I love being out in nature. Is Montana your happy place? Like, why did you leave to go to
LA? For work, Montana is my happy place. Coming out of being there, I was leaving, coming here, and I was like, wait a minute. I'm already fucking retired. Like, what am I doing? At least that's what it felt like. It's the best place in the world, man, for me. It brings me back to myself, recalibrates, it's away from some of the super commercial energy out here. So I really appreciate the time to just kind of like take it all back in and just really return to myself. That's why I love it.
And so what about LA was like, okay, let me get up out of here and move to the City of Angels?
Yeah. So a lot of my community is out here, and I think there's a big breach in accessibility, personability. There's not really too much of a human component I've seen in the digital marketing space, in the artist development space, and me being an artist myself, at that, and any music I take on, I like, taking it as if it were my own, and putting it into my perspective. So when I can get the FaceTime with my community and my clients, I think it makes a world of a difference of the impact I can have on them, they can have on me, and our working relationship just becomes way more fruitful for that. That being said, I've come out here and, like my egg, I've been trying to keep a low profile because it's been pretty intense since the jump. I'm almost missing Montana, but in the same vein, I'm just grateful to have the community out here that I do. So this is where I need to be. It's a higher playing field. It's where the action's at, and trying to strike while the iron's hot, but also where it's hot. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I get that 1000%. I mentioned the Henny and Lemonade. We had met up in New York. We were talking just artist marketing and social media and growth and a whole bunch of other fucking buzzwords that people put in their pitch decks to attract people. One thing that stood out is you're talking about it now is that FaceTime you were willing to put into it, the human element that you add, especially with something as virtual as online marketing. What about this space made you want to start a career in online marketing?
I don't know. I've always loved to help people. Like for instance, and beyond music. Just like growing up, that was always just how I was raised. And as commercial and kind of cliche as that answer sounds, in the same right, I kind of lost the path creating my own music. So I kind of wanted to, one, I've always had a big network of friends, colleagues, this and that, and kind of had this background from my time at Northwestern, and in light of not wanting to make my music career ever feel like a chore, felt like this was a great way for me to get involved. I've always been a music head my life too, so really thought I could just make an impact helping shape people's brands from having the perspective of where they are on the other side of the table. My just innate passion to really just help bring people to their fullest extent. I mean, like helping people blossom, and even when we crack a career or we make someone go viral, I never take credit for that. We helped shape the music in like maybe a friendlier way to the platform where we're marketing on, but a lot of artists don't really realize, how close they are to striking gold. And I feel like I can see a lot of things in people that maybe they don't on their own, just, as a lot of other people do with other people's art. But I really wanted to take that an extra step and, help really flesh out these diamonds from the dirt, and really kind of like uncover and enhance so much of the talent that's already out there. Like I said, like it's really, there's so, in this day and age, it's so hard to, like cut through the noise and just be heard even when your music is already good. With the network I already had and kind of the background I had in marketing, it was kind of a no brainer.
Yeah, no, I get that. And thinking about that with artists, right? And people not understanding how close they are to success or to breaking through. You've come up with a really interesting approach to promoting and helping artists go quote unquote viral. Tim, I'm gonna need you to mute your mic. I know it's your first time on Spaces, but I hear you click clacking away.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm, I'm, I'm fucking with
No,
you, man.
no, I am.
Um,
Put me in my fucking place. I'm a noob on this shit. Need it.
Yo, man, when I asked you to send me your profile, I was like, yeah, I don't follow him on Twitter. And I'm like, oh, he's not using Twitter. Which again, there's no issue with that. Money Trees to me is all about the conversations that I have on the fringes. And it's turned in, over the last, I'd say 30 to 40 episodes really into like in-depth interviews with people that I rock with and believe in the space. But at the same point, it's like, yo, it's really dope getting to hear some of these conversations I have with, again, you're one of those forces that people, I won't name names because I don't know how public some of it is, but one of Web3's most known musicians has already utilized their service to raise a bunch of money via TikTok. And it's things like that. It's kind of fun peeling back the curtain and giving people some insight on layers that they just don't even realize are at work. Speaking on you getting a little bit involved in the NFT game, I'm heavy, big believer in Web3 and the blockchain. Not as much of a believer in music NFTs in its current state, but I think we're going to start witnessing, a massive, massive evolution in the way that music NFTs are marketed, sold, etc. I don't know if you saw, and if you haven't, I'm going to have to shoot you a bunch of info on it. But Instagram and Meta, I can't. Every time I call Facebook Meta, it like, anyway, I digress. Instagram and its parent company, Instagram and their parent company are going to start allowing artists to display NFTs on their profile. Have you seen that announcement?
I actually have seen that announcement. Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit at it. Where do you stand on NFTs just as a whole? Like, and I'm not expecting any type of expert response. Just like, where are you at with it?
I'm at. It's a really like multifaceted answer, right? Like, there's, as you know, like I when I'm like going into that space, I'm definitely relying on like some of my expert connects when I really need to help someone push a project in that regard. It's something like I'm looking forward to expanding upon more. But what I really find it like so interesting about it is, and especially with that advent of the release of that feature on Instagram, like you know, NFTs are the rarity and the scarcity of them. Is what makes them valuable in a lot of ways. And I really wonder how commercializing it, like it will be on Instagram, is going to change that. I work with some artists who we're dropping NFTs with, like for everyone who goes to a concert of theirs, they're getting like a free NFT. And I feel like that makes people feel like very woven into that artist's narrative. Really makes them feel like a secondary character in their story. And I think it's great on Instagram, especially for like the average, like, artist entrepreneur, artistpreneur, as they say, like that. I think that's going to like make this so much more accessible to people. But I wonder just like the impact of like making that so commercial so fast, like what kind of effect that will have on the whole scarcity element, especially if like any 13-year-old who doesn't even know what an NFT is can just kind of pick it up and or just like even accumulate or acquire one without really a second thought. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, man, I have too many. But I appreciate your stance on it because at the end of the day, I think that sometimes people like to be very forceful, like, oh, if you're not in Web3 right now, you're getting left behind and it's all moving so fast.
Yeah, I hear that every day.
And, my stance is, and this is actually something I'll talk to Black Dave about, who's a popular Web3 artist, is that it's not the space is moving fast. There's just a lot of shit happening.
It's
And
different. Yeah.
yes, there's a difference between progress and content. There is a lot of content that is going on. But as far as progression and things actually moving, we'll say up into the right on the graph, I don't know. So I think marketing is marketing is marketing. And when I say that, it's like, yo, the ways like you've had to sell things for hundreds of years, and the method of sale and the way you would go about it may change and vary as generations and means are different. But at the end of the day, you have to create value for a consumer or a person that you are selling to. And or I'll say right now, a lot of that value comes in the form of attention, where you need to do things that capture someone's attention or make people want to give you their attention. Whatever form of it is. I'd say at the core, a lot of it stems from attention. If you can capture someone's attention, you can either monetize that attention or find ways to have them pay you for the attention of theirs that they're holding. So when it comes down to like selling NFTs, Instagram becomes an interesting thing to me because I'm like, okay, well, how much does like have you bought anything off the Instagram shop? I know I
No,
haven't. I think
I
that
have
it's
not.
like a ridiculous feature, but I'm sure that there's enough data that backs it up that says no, it's worth having it on there. And it's funny because I'll be with certain people and I'll see a Facebook ad get their attention and then they go and buy it. And I'm like, oh, okay, you're the conversion. And of course, we've done that type of marketing and we've done ads. So we know that it does work. It's just like to what extent. And so this is all a little bit of a tangent. When I think about NFTs and social media, I'm still unsure like what the value proposition is. Like you said it, okay, it's supposed to be about this scarcity and now you're making it widely available. Well, to me, I don't think the value should come from scarcity anyway. I think that, to your point, like, yo, if you show up to a concert, you get an NFT, there's value in that because it's verifiable digital ownership. And being able to verify that this person actually went to that contract, to or to that concert via smart contract, there's some value there. And a lot of this may sound a little bit like gibberish, and some of it is, man. I swear, like I love the space because I know that when the innovation gets right, we'll this is where everything is heading. I just don't know that everyone has to necessarily quit what's working for them to come and build over here. And I know that's an unpopular
For
opinion, but
sure. But can I ask you a
yeah, I don't
question
know.
about
Yeah,
the
for sure,
speed
for
of this
sure.
all? So, like, I mean, this was going to be one of my talking points at some point, but just like how attention is like a social currency, right? Like, um, like I'm what I'd love to know as someone who spends a lot of time in this field and whose opinion I really respect on this stuff, like in this age of like microwavable content and NFTs maybe becoming a little more commercial, but as you said, like the value is not necessarily just on their scarcity, but given like how limited the public's like the general person's knowledge on NFTs is, and Instagram just bringing that to the forefront of everyone's attention, like kind of, which will cause a ripple effect of tons of artists like getting on this bandwagon that definitely probably weren't even maybe were considering it before. How do you think that shift in attention, while with also like coupled with that shift in like commercialability for NFTs, if it's even a word, you know what I'm saying? Like, how is that going to impact the NFT space, in your opinion? Especially with the ways like, people consume music. Everyone's attention is like just, you get people for seconds these days. And um, there's almost so much accessibility, it can be overwhelming and paralyzing sometimes. So, like, I'd love to know just where you think uh, that's kind of heading with this.
Whew, if I had the answer, I would be building the platform that solves it right now. No, seriously, seriously. I'll flip it to say that I think that I use this example of the iPhone and the App Store. And when the App Store first came out, do you remember when the lighter app was like one of the top apps and
Hell
you had
yeah,
this
beer
lighter on your
drinking app.
phone? Yeah, and none of it was real. It was all like kind of a fun little novelty stuff, but none of it actually had substance. But that didn't mean that it wasn't valuable. It was valuable. I'm sure that there were ads placed on it or whatever the mechanism was for profiting, or it set up, some other deal later. So I come into this space with with a very open mind. Where the main reason why I do money trees and I have these conversations and I record them is, one, to listen back and see how things have changed and see like where my guests or my own perspectives have shifted and grown, but also to kind of document the journey through. Where we can listen to this conversation now, and in a year and a half, we might be like, oh, yeah, no, 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 this is how we have to market it. This is what we need to do on TikTok. This is what's going on over here, blah, 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 blah. And we kind of have that, like we've planted that seed for us to nurture and pay attention to. Like, even thinking on NFTs and TikTok, like, I was looking at something the other day, and ByteDance is one of the most valuable companies in the world. They're worth like $360 billion, TikTok's parent company,
Sure.
which is a much better name than Meta. Anyway, I digress.
Agreed.
Before it's Zuck's gonna be well. Actually, this one. No, not. I'm not even. I'm so. I have such a little weird paranoia about the internet and like audio shit, and it's one of those things where it's like the fucking weed dealer that's selling little $20 bags is like worried that the feds are watching him.
No,
That's just such a waste of resources.
they're tapped
We
in right now. What do
guarantee.
you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
listening
like
right now.
you're not on anyone's
Don't
radar.
stop playing on my phone, bro.
Yo, man.
Hey, by the way, we got that shit less for 20 though, if anyone's listening.
Yeah, for sure out in LA. Yeah,
Like,
I'm gonna it's not even a preface. It's I guess a post face, a post face. This Money Trees episode was genuinely one that I've wanted to have just because I love chopping it up with Tim. I always say these episodes are based on how my friends grow in Web3 and beyond, and so I wanted to explore what that looked like for you, right? So now we're already seeing that there's going to be some type of shift with NFTs being made available via Instagram. And let me not just it's not that it's a cop out, but let me give you an actual prediction, right? So there are less people that own NFTs than that live on the island of Manhattan. And when you think about how small of actually, you know what? Those were some old statistics. So let's even say New York City, right? Like there are less people that own NFTs, less unique owners than there are in the city of New York globally. And when you think about that, it becomes like, whoa, that's a really, really small market. It's big, but it's small at the same time, where the entire breadth of this new technology can be, compared to one of the largest cities in the world, but still a city nonetheless. Not a country, not, a state, but a city. And that means that this exposure that's going to be provided is going to inevitably create more demand and more attention in the space, which means that artists are inevitably going to need to figure out ways to market their NFTs. I think the big thing is like, yo, again, what you do is you help capture people's attention. Where artists have to figure out why they want to make some shit in NFT. Because at the end of the day, it's like, yo, I could just sell you a digital collectible, but why do you need to prove that you own it? What blockchain is it going to be on? Where does the education come in? And again, a little bit of a tangent here. I want to spend these last few minutes more just asking you some questions. It's the Tim episode, number 62. You got a fly note. I didn't post your note because you said, no, I'm going to. When I post this
keep.
episode, I'm going to
I
share
love
with
your
the note.
tangents, please,
Yo,
please,
but it's just
as you
like,
were.
you're a fucking egg, man. I was
Dude, I'm the
like,
shadow puppet master, though. That's the other thing, bro. You don't even see it coming.
and it's really crazy to me
Hidden in
because
plain view, dog. That's it.
literally one of the biggest music, and I'll let people, maybe they'll figure it out, but one of the biggest music NFT artists has used you for a campaign. And it's just like, this is like the cabal shit that people be talking about and not realizing, like,
I'm
yo,
just
it's
an egg, bro.
like it's independent, but I think that I always say it's like, yo, like labels services are important. Sure, labels and their contracts can be a little off, but you need help marketing, and it's very, very discounted, man. Like people love to make it seem like they did all this on their own, and meanwhile they're tapping in with the egg from Montana to to get their boost. Yo, oh man. Okay.
I'm
No.
done. No name.
So
My surname, actually.
can you you mentioned something earlier about artists not necessarily being aware of when they're about to hit. Why, in your opinion, does consistency matter in this day and age of digital artists and digital music and digital art?
Oh, I'd love to talk about this. Um, I mean, couple things right off the bat, like going back to what we said about how attention is a currency and how fragile and delicate it is. I mean, this is a multifaceted answer because it's like you have to pay attention to your existing fans, the prospective new ones, and also pay attention to a lot of these like algorithms that you're having to like coax and nurture and forge a relationship with. um I think it's really hard to, man, like in this, anywhere, anytime, any day, uploading my music day and age, anyone with a laptop or even an iPhone can put out a song on the internet these days. And if you have enough money, or if you're an asshole and just want to like boost up the numbers to like fake your success from an optics or standpoint, you can capture attention. You can capture a lot of attention with, you know, putting in very little effort, especially for people who like, from the naked eye might think you're an artist that's popping off. To maintain that attention though is something entirely, and that's where the consistency piece comes into play. You have to let people know, people want to fall in love with the narrative of not just, the music, like the story you're telling in your music, but also what you do on a day-to-day life. And a lot of these apps, like TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, they all kind of showcase a different glimpse as to what your daily life is like. And without the consistency behind it, I mean, not only are people just going to care less off the bat, they're going to think you're less engaged, less active, and their attention's just going to shift to the next hottest thing. I mean, we have artists dropping 2, sometimes 3 projects a year, and it's so hard to compete with. So, like, you constantly have to be just kind of like punching against that ceiling, like glass ceiling, in order to like kind of break through. And the other half to that is, um, I mean, using like Spotify as an example, you have to, if you're not releasing music consistently there, you're telling that algorithm that you're not worth its time. Essentially, you have to. I like saying that, like, the Spotify algorithm is a TV network, and like your account is like a TV show, and you want to sell them on giving you a prime time slot. And how do you do that? Well, you release on a consistent, predictable cadence, and you tell that algorithm, like, hey, I'm going to be putting this out in front of people and sustaining, you know, my quote TV show with a fan base or an audience, and whether that's through real playlisting or real advertisements. You need to prove that as well. So it kind of really becomes this thing where, um, the more consistent you get, the more precious that momentum is, especially to leverage that across multiple platforms, but also, because in a second it can all be gone, and everything you did was, maybe not for nothing, but it can really be taken for granted easily. So that's why I think that's really, something that's, one of the most important factors of this. Like, a really consistency is the glue, the little things like the posting on your socials every day and repurposing that across every platform you release on. It's everything. It's everything to, not only making my biggest campaigns a success, but to helping an artist kind of break through and potentially go viral on their own accord, from, or on their own merit, from just a post, from just their audience, like building and engaging with them, and like creating these staggering engaging building blocks of fan retention over time. It's everything today. So yeah, long-winded answer, but
Nah, I'm
there you
right
have
there
it.
with you. I think that, and it's like a double-edged sword, right? Because for a lot of people, maintaining that consistency is incredibly draining. And it becomes like, oh, well, I just want to be able to work on this project and, eventually get it out. And it's a tough pill to swallow that in order to compete in these current landscapes, this is what you have to do. Now, Web3 is saying that they offer a new model for it, but it hasn't quite yet been built yet because all the ways to sell your NFTs still require very consistent posting, or in the very rare, because then people like to point at the rare cases as well, where like, at the end of the day, Beeple's 5,000 days was because he was putting out art every single day for 10
Every day.
years.
I remember that.
So it's
For
like,
years too.
that's not, a decade plus. And so that's on one end of it. But then you could look at, like, we see what happened when Kendrick just dropped his first song in what, 4 or 5 years, and everyone's like, oh well, I want to be like this. And it's like, yo, there is one Kendrick Lamar. Like, we are talking potentially a top 3 all-time rapper. Like, if you are one of the best, the 3 best in the last 50 years to do what it is you're doing, you can probably skip a lot of these steps. But unless you're that, you most likely need to be playing the game. And it's a tough kind of realization to come to. And so a lot of people's thing is like, oh, well, F it. We're going to create this new landscape, and I'm all for that. Hopefully that works, but
Hell yeah.
it's tough. And I'll say this: you talked about like having money and what that can do for perception. If you're listening to this, if you're gonna buy views, buy engagement too. Like,
Cheers. Yeah.
because hello,
Please, if you're
when I
listening to this now, listen to this man.
it's like, yo, when I go and look at your video and I see 10 million views and 10,000 likes, and then I go look at a video with 1 million views and 80,000 likes, it's clear which one has the real
Yep.
views. And people are so obsessed with that perception that they forget that it's like, yo, you'll quickly be disconnected because, like, okay, maybe you can pull the wool over on some people, but we know about stream farms. There's so many memes about stream farms to this day that, like, it doesn't hold the same emphasis. And so that's where it's like, again, I love having these conversations because I want to
Wait.
document it and say, like, hey, I believe in a lot of Web3's potential. I'm just not sold on what I'm seeing from a lot of the current platforms. I think that the blockchain, whew, and I don't know, we're getting some feedback there. But I
No,
think
no.
the blockchain, the opportunities that it presents again with verifiable digital ownership in such a virtual landscape that we all operate in is incredible. But streaming is still the best thing for the consumer when it comes to music. Like, we look at TikTok. I just said ByteDance is the most valuable one of the most valuable companies in the world. That is for the most part on the backs of TikTok. The TikTok algorithm, similar to most algorithms, rewards that cadence, rewards that high view retention, rewards that repetitive nature. And of course, from an artistic perspective, it doesn't necessarily sit right with everyone, but the game is the game. And you can either complain about the game or you can decide to play it. And again, like Tim, I'm so glad you came on this episode because that to me is like you're just an example of that. Like, yo, you make an entire career on understanding how to play the game. You're
Oh yeah,
agnostic.
man. I
It doesn't
appreciate that.
Oh, hell yeah. Like, you're going to adjust, and I'm sure we'll have more conversations about how to flip the NFT algo, but it hasn't really been developed yet. There isn't a consistent way to have NFT sales. You can say yes and point to examples, but for all the ones you point to, I'll show you 100 that are doing the same thing and it's not working. Okay, is it the collector market? Okay, is it hype? Okay, are the sales even real? Okay, like, what are we actually buying? Is it overpromised utility? It's the fucking wild wild west. And I think the sooner people accept that, the more successes we'll start to see because we're understanding, like, yo, what's going to work for you may not work for others. The formula does not exist yet. I'm going on record and saying that. And then maybe people can highlight in 3 months and say, oh, no, look, this formula worked here. And I'll be like, oh, shit, I was wrong. Well, I don't know. Cool. I love it. I love, I'm going to stick with my stance until I see otherwise.
Yo, can I ask you one more question I forgot to ask?
Yeah, what's up? What's up?
I really wanted to know your opinion on this because I've been hitting with tons of these requests recently of people making these NFT artists that are just basically like auto-tuned up, like hella distortion, like it's like a funny joke. They're making like a cartoon character, but their whole projects. And I've gotten some pretty extensive like career like rollout plans from some of these just artists that are just like one of them's names. Oh, I'm not gonna name drop, but they're just like they're meant to be like spoofs of like actual artists, but they're growing in popularity, and it's just all like it's like a meme, literally. I just wanted to know your thoughts on that.
Man, this is where I'm the boomer. I'm very
I
much the
gotta show
old
you one of these on
man.
the call though, for real. You're gonna geek.
Yeah,
It's
no, but
crazy shit.
I remember when I saw Little Michaela and I was like, I don't know, y'all. Like, this is tough. This is tough.
Came on.
We're getting into weird
Some weird shit. Yeah.
yeah, man. And so for me, I just say some shit's not for me. And in other situations, it's not that it can't work. It's like, yo, there's for sure opportunity there. There's people who relate to it. There's a story to be told. And like you said, all you have to do is be able to sell a narrative. All you have to do is be able, well, not even sell, to tell a narrative that people believe in. And you can market a product and you can get product into your target audience. So My opinion is that it's for sure going to work. Universal bought two Bored Apes or signed a Bored Apes band or whatever they did
Right.
to make music through that. And the hype alone is going to carry that. Who knows how far, but to somewhere. Like they're already getting attention. And
Definitely going
so,
somewhere.
yeah, I'm not going to say that as far as longevity, I don't believe in it. And I'll go on record saying that. Like, nah, I don't believe in it. But does it have to have longevity to be successful? What is your definition of success? These are all things that, are going to vary person to person. So like, who the hell knows, man?
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. So, yo, again, this was meant to be a chop up. There's two. I'm I'm laughing because in my head I'm like, yo, there's a bunch of other things I wanted, or I still want to ask you, but it feels like more of an offline. This is definitely one of those combos where it's like, yo, there's just game that, not that I can't share it online. It's like I don't want to put you in any positions with
No,
some of the shit
that
that
will
I
be the
know.
NFT version that's unlockable that you could pay 99.99 for this week only.
Oh man, yo, that man, I
Man.
can't wait. Once the Forex people find their ways to NFTs, that's we're gonna see some
That's
real
gonna be,
wild use
yeah, there's
cases.
gonna be some real shit going on with that.
The fucking MLM, multi-level marketing or whatever it is, Cutco NFTs. That's yo. Most NFT projects really are MLM schemes, but that's a problem. I mean, a statement for another day. Look, Tim, this has been an ill episode. I have two questions I ask everybody on the show before I let them get out of here. So the first question is going to be, what is your seed phrase? Now, in the crypto space, your seed phrase is normally your account recovery key. It's the 12 or 24 word passcode that's given to you that gives you access to your crypto wallet. To me, seed phrase isn't a scary enough term for something that requires, a high level of security. You lose access to your seed phrase, you lose all of your assets, all of your NFTs, all your cryptocurrencies, potentially. Here on Money Trees, we're repurposing seed phrase to be a saying, a quote, a slogan, a motto, a lyric that you live by that embodies your approach to your art, to your career, to your craft. Tim Jeanneret, what is your seed phrase?
I had a more extensive one, but I'm gonna like boil it down to keep everyone's attention. You know, if you were listening earlier. But I think this goes out, to like, something I was thinking about. I was picking between a couple things, and I was trying to think of one thing that really could maybe appeal to a lot of the potential artists listening to this. And it was it's a quote from Talbot Mundy's, like, I Say Sunrise. It's like a book from the 50s. It's like, a philosophy on how to enjoy your life the best. And this guy says this quote. He goes, like your best friend, your worst enemy, your biggest creditor, debtor, and judge, and you are all these things all at the same time. And that quote has always had a profound impact on me in everything I've done throughout my life. Every time I've been up, every time I've been down, like every time I've been in the pits of like really trying to make um, this business become the machine that it is today. So like, if anyone listening to this that feels like they don't know how to crack into any of the things we just talked about on this show, they don't know how to navigate this ever adapting landscape, um, you can do all that shit. You just have to buy into that and be hyper aware that you are really the master of your own destiny here. So that's what that seed phrase means to me.
There it is. My second question is going to be, and I know I didn't tweet it out beforehand again. I just had to enjoy the fact that you were an egg for this live recording. But
I'm a one of one.
the no, yo, we have your one of one Money Trees number 62 note that will be listed for sale. What is the price of that NFT going to be?
Oh, shit. I was kind of torn on making this a super valuable. I saw just like the range um, of prices you had across everybody, but I kind of want to everybody get in on the action a little bit. You know what I mean? Looking at the current price now, maybe like point. And I want your feedback on here because it really kind of seemed like everyone was doing their own thing. But let's do 0.00 like 3.004. Is that too low?
I think that's like
It's like 20, 30, $40, something like that. 50.
okay. Yeah, maybe.
Low?
Yeah,
Should I
yeah,
up a little
maybe.
bit?
I don't know. Am I doing my math wrong? Point one is like 200. So
$200.
0.01 is 20. So
Too low?
0.001 is like $2.
No, I meant one
No,
zero.
is that
Sorry.
fuck? Is that how math works? Wow, people are gonna go back and listen and be like, "Who's his math teacher?"
This,
Make sure my kids don't get him.
this is a marketing consultation, not a math consultation. If y'all are listening, maybe
um, all right,
point.
no, tell me in USD. You're trying to be too fancy, and you.
I am trying to be too fancy. So I'm looking at the charts right now. I'm trying to crunch the numbers right now. Make really profit from this. No, I'm playing. Point. Let's do like $40.
All right, there it is. Yo, Tim, it's been a pleasure chopping it up with you. I hope you figure out how to use your mobile device for future. I'm done. I'm like,
No, I'm not. I'm actually
no, I
brick fist
swear.
against the wall, and I'm fucking done. I'm done with phones. All my shit's turned into eggs. Literally, you'll never see me again. This is it. Last segment of technology.
Tim texted me and was like, "Yo, I'm in here, but like I don't see a request to speak." And sends me a picture of him in on the desktop version, and I'm like, "Oh my G, Twitter hasn't added
Julie
that in
Montana,
yet."
baby.
Nah, man, it's love because at the end of the day, you do what you do, and you do it at a very, very high level. And yo, this has been ill. I'm glad you were able to find your Twitter account. Yeah, you be incognito. I get it. I was in the shadows lurking for a while. I've since decided to go
Found the
outside.
light.
Yeah, let the sun hit me. I tried to get a tan, but I'm black already. Like you know the vibes. So yeah,
You'll never see me coming, bro.
yeah, I'm out of here. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, your week. This has been fire, and we'll be chopping more.
Love it, man. It has been such a pleasure being on this show. I've been looking forward to this for a very long time, and it is one of the most fun things I've done in a minute. So appreciate you. Love the time. Love chopping it up with you. Looking forward to the next time we get to do that. All right, man.